Basically, for those who don't know, I turned 20 grand to $5 million. So the story I mentioned earlier, I lived it. So I'm showing how this can be done, but you have to manage the risk. So if I was you, because our platform gives you projects that are trading, but if you want early stage projects like that alpha, that's more in the premium group on the webinar where we share different projects we're looking at investment wise. We hired a new analyst, so we'll have even more content going up. We're going to start writing more in our newsletter, so stay tuned for that. But early stage projects, that's where the returns are. That's where the risk is, but you have to manage that risk, right? Going back to what I said, if you have 20 grand, it's the same framework, except you're making $1,000 checks in 20 projects that haven't launched yet, basically early stage venture capital. But you realize that 90% of them will not really do that well. On average, if you can get a 10x on those 90%, that's great. But let's say, but who cares about that, right? Let's say all those 90% go to zero. That's fine. If out of the 20, you have two that give a 100x return on average or more, you're good. So that's 20 grand. Out of those two, that's 2 grand to 100x. That's 200 grand. I think that's still pretty good. Now, hopefully you get even more. So to make millions, let's say they do 400x returns. So 2 grand to 400x return. So people to visualize 2 grand, 400x return. That's 2 grand to 800 grand. And then if you can just do decent with the rest out of the other 18 investments, if you can just not get wrecked, if you can average like a 5 to 10x. So it is possible, but you have to be really good. And you also have to have some luck as well, right? Like, there's always luck involved, but there's also skill involved. It's both art and science and some luck, right? So the science part is tokenmetrics.com. Go there, get a free trial. The art part is kind of knowing, like, you have to really be in the flow of things. You have to really treat this almost like a full-time job. So you have to be on the ground, boots on the ground, have the best research tools, go to conferences, and get in the right groups, find that right alpha, even on crypto Twitter, and find those projects, find those hidden gems. So if you can find a lot of those, now if you get even more projects out of the 20 that do more than 10x, you can do really well. Right? So like when I turned 20 grand to 5 million, basically I had 200 X's. So Icon and Wabi did over 100x return. This is back in 2017 to 2018. I had Dragon Chain back then did what, 80x return. Then I had, I think, some 50x returns and some others. So we were just swinging, hitting some pretty good home runs, triples, some doubles. And then last cycle, it was basically kind of the same thing, 2 400x returns and basically Helium and Polygon. Then ApeCoin, basically, well, I first bought Bored Apes. Then from there, I got airdropped with Mutants, then Other Deeds, and then ApeCoin. I mean, that was like over a 6-figure airdrop. So now you could probably do even more, right? So I think how it's different in this cycle, like if I had 20 to 30 grand, I would factor in airdrops even more, because airdrops is definitely a legit way to make money. Like Uniswap airdrop was what, like 4 to 5 grand. If you did that, you could have made it a lot more. So all these big projects, airdrop farming is a thing. Depends on how crazy you want to go with it, but I think you do want to be getting these airdrops. That's something you want to do, right? So the Blur airdrop was free money. So I would look at all these blue chip projects coming up, right? Especially blockchains, and see how you can get airdrops for being part of the testnet, being part of all these different phases. So for example, I talked about, let's say Obscura, right? Obscura is a blockchain. It's an L2 project we invested in, right? So let's say they're going to be launching and they do a testnet, and if you partake in the testnet, they give you airdrops, free money. So that's one to kind of double down and increase the upside while minimizing the risk. So that's one way to do all this. Well, let's say you don't even have any money at all. Well, guess what? I'll just be doing nothing but airdrop farming, the great projects. So for example, we know there was Arbitrum, there was Optimism. We know there's ZK Sync coming up, like all these different projects. So definitely stay tuned with that. Actually, there was even a new project we're looking into, but I think the big narratives, you have ZK as big narratives. We'll curate all these and send them out to our customers and our audience. So I highly encourage you to join and get on the email list. You can definitely get there, because if you add investing, if you factor in the airdrops, you can definitely get there. You can definitely get there with airdrops. Airdrops are free money. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we have even more content for you at Tokenmetrics. Get there using the link down below.